I'm Emma Cosman. I'm one of the programme managers at the Living Wage Foundation. So we help employers to go living wage and celebrate them when they do. The Living Wage Foundation is the organisation at the heart of a movement of people, organisations and businesses that believe in a fair day's pay for a hard day's work. And we bring together lots of different communities to call for a real living wage. There are 3,500 accredited living wage employers, and they agree to do two things. So they put the living wage in place for directly employed staff and also for regular subcontracted staff. So that makes sure that cleaners, catering, security staff all benefit from that organisation's commitment to pay the living wage linked to the real cost of living. And those organisations display a mark showing that they are living wage employers, and they can use that throughout their communications channels so that members of the public, their employees, their customers, their suppliers can see that they've committed to putting a fair wage in place across everything they do. Employers can sign up to the Living Wage Foundation very quickly if they want to become Living Wage accredited. There's a short form they need to fill out, and then we award the accreditation within 10 working days. And to do that, they just need to guarantee they're paying the living wage to all of their directly employed staff, anyone who's working for them for any hours who is over the age of 18. And then we also work with them to put a plan in place for subcontracted staff. And there's loads more information on our website, FAQs, and any questions, people can just get in touch with the Living Wage Foundation. We've actually done lots of studies working independently with academics, and 93% of employers found that they've benefited after putting the living wage in place. There's a range of benefits in terms of business outcomes, so in terms of recruitment, retention, employee morale. It's not rocket science. We all know that people will work that bit harder if they're remunerated fairly, and if they feel that their employer is committed to good things and is sort of valuing people in the round. There's also a range of PR and kind of communications benefits, so we can work to celebrate living wage employers through press, through communications. We've got lots of different partners who are interested to support living wage employers in different ways. So there are lots and lots of different benefits to being a living wage employer. We've done some polling with the NUS, which has found that lots of graduates, when they're moving into work, are really keen to work for living wage employers. Of course, people are keen to be earning living wage themselves, but above and beyond that, people are also keen to be working for an employer that reflects their values, working for an organisation that is having a good impact for their staff, for the communities that surround them, and on through their supply chain as well. So living wage accreditation can be a mark of good business that can help attract the right candidates. Lots of employers have seen the positive impact of putting the living wage in place in terms of recruitment, but also in terms of being able to hold on to those staff. So it's about getting the right people and keeping them. So Living Wage Week is a big celebration right across the country. We announced the new living wage rates. We have a range of different events ourselves and with partner organisations. It's really an opportunity for organisations to celebrate their living wage accreditation and to get more people on board. What we'd really like to achieve is seeing lots more employers become aware of the real living wage movement and to put that rate in place so that more people can earn a wage that meets the real cost of living.
Lovely. How can the Living Wage campaign help local communities?
So the Living Wage, the Living Wage campaign came from local communities in the first place. The movement started in 2001 when families working with our parent charity, Citizens UK, were working on the then minimum wage and working often 2 or 3 jobs, and really sharing stories that low pay was damaging family and community life. So that's really where it's all come from, and being able to earn a wage that meets the cost of living has a range of benefits for employees, for their families, and for the wider community. So it might be, the difference between being able to work less hours and therefore have more time to give back to your community, or it might be about, somebody's kind of financial well-being, but it can also be about wider well-being, so thinking about kind of health and access to leisure. There's a whole range of benefits, and we're really keen to see that in Crawley.
Thank you. What would you say to a company that's thinking of becoming a living wage employer but isn't quite convinced?
Of course, it would be a really different conversation for different employers. We think it's often really helpful to speak to other employers that have made the jump and put the living wage in place for their staff. Depending on the industry and the type of service or product that organisation, depending on the type of work that they do, there will be kind of different questions. But we'd certainly say it can be done. The 3,500 accredited employers that have already gone living wage are in so many different services and different industries. And I mean, one of the things that we have found is even if you are in a typically low pay industry that is a difficult, where it can be challenging to put the living wage in place, that will be where you can reap the most benefits in terms of the business benefits, but also the communications and PR benefits of paying the living wage.
Awesome. And where do you see the Living Wage Foundation in the next 5 years?
So the living wage movement started in 2001 and the Living Wage Foundation itself launched in 2011. Over that time we've given over 150,000 people a pay rise to the real living wage and moved millions of pounds of money in increased wages into the pockets of low paid workers. We've got thousands and thousands of organisations, living wage employers, but also public sector organisations, politicians, community groups, all different shapes and sizes, really believing in and showing people that they believe in fair pay. And we think it's really important. It's part of a wider movement of responsible businesses. So we just hope to continue to grow this movement, see more employers sign up and see more employees getting a pay rise. There's also increasing international awareness of the living wage movement, so hashtag Living Wage Week on Twitter, you can see what other international groups are up to, and we're really keen to be sharing the news and comparing living wage stories in different contexts.
Perfect, thank you. It's the end of my questions, but if you feel like there's something you haven't said and you'd like to, you can go for it.
No, that's
you
great.
Feel like
I think
you covered
that's
it?
been really helpful. Would it be helpful to redo a couple of the earlier questions, just so you've got options?
Was there any specific ones that you thought? Because I'm okay. What do you think? Might be an idea, but
yeah. You wouldn't happen to have any statistics of anything, would you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that will help?
Yeah.
Yeah, giving some of the numerical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of like towards the business side. Or,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
As in why it would benefit businesses specifically.
I'm going to form the question then. Well.
I tell you what. Why don't you? I can just talk for a bit without a question if that's helpful.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, great. So, low pay is increasingly a real problem, and the living wage movement is one solution. I'm going to start again. Across the UK, at the moment, 1 in 4 people are working and not earning enough to meet the basic cost of living. The living wage is calculated every year based on what it means to be able to pay for basic but necessary amenities, so to have a safe, warm home, a healthy diet, but also little extras. So it could mean the difference of being able to go to, for a child to go to a birthday party, it could mean Christmas presents. And the living wage movement has meant that 150,000 people are now earning that wage to meet that basic but decent cost of living. That said, this is against a context of increasing low pay across the UK. So 2/3 of children growing up in poverty are now earning have a parent who's working and is earning below the real living wage. A quarter of people are not earning the living wage across the workforce, and that will increase. That represents lots of different low-paid groups. There are different demographic trends at play there, and we really think that the living wage movement is helping different employees and communities to be able to afford the real cost of living.
Lovely.
Do you want me to? I think we've got like a 10 key stats briefing, so I could just have a look.